Somebody on Facebook sent me this article from Cinema Blend, and I actually thought it was a little bit interesting, and it actually got me thinking about something just for a little bit, and hopefully the thing that I'm thinking of doesn't exactly come to major importance or like becomes a major discussion. But let me just say this right here. Scream actress Melissa Barrera talks franchise, adding diversity, and one thing she always forgave the OG movies for. Now, this actually came out right after Scream 5 was released. It came out that month, actually. And Scream has returned for the first time since 2011's fourth installment, my favorite one. And this time, the movie is packed with fresh faces. In addition to many of the actors from the original cast returning to the franchise, the horror movie includes a diverse new array of actors and actresses, including Melissa Barrera, Jenna Ortega, Mikey Madison, Dylan Minnette, Mason Gooding, Jasmine Savoy Brown, and Sonia Amar. While speaking about the movie's representation, Melissa got blunt about the franchise's history. Melissa, who leads the latest Scream movie as Sam Carpenter, shared her thoughts on being a Latina lead in a horror franchise not historically known for its diversity and inclusion. In her words, quote unquote, "It's so funny because yes, it was such a white franchise at the beginning, and then you actually forgive it because it would comment on that. The characters would talk about how, oh, the token black character that's going to die. They would talk about it, and so you forgave it for not having diversity." Now, it also says Scream has always been a franchise that comments on horror tropes, given that Ghostface is always a huge movie watcher of the classics. Melissa Barrera admitted that she'd often forgive the series for not being diverse because it was so self-aware. She continued explaining to The Wrap with these words. She said, "I'm also grateful that this fifth movie is the most diverse cast that we've ever seen in the saga, and it looks more like the world does today. So I think it's beautiful to be more reflective of that, not just in skin tones and ethnicities and nationalities, but also there's queer characters, and we've never seen that, so that's good." So you know what? Before I continue the rest of that, here's what I want to say about that. I think that she's making a good point for the most part. Let me also say this, and here's one thing I'm actually surprised that I haven't seen right now, because let's face it, you got a number of certain people that will complain about the littlest of things, even if it's in regard to fictional characters. I mean, you're talking a Black Mermaid, and people complained that said that Barbie was too woke, and just all this other stuff. Of course, you had conservatives complaining that Black Panther got released just because it was Black Panther. Okay, most of which, as far as the arguments go, I don't really care about. Okay, yeah, some of this stuff is good, some is not, some is boring, some is cheesy, whatever. They're all just movies for entertainment. I'm surprised that by now, I didn't hear a single person come out and say that the Scream 5 and 6 movies were woke because they had a predominantly non-white cast. I mean, because that's what they do. If it's, oh, they've got a black person here, or this person's a LGB, or this person's Jewish, or this person's, they have a woman in there. Oh, it's woke, woke, woke. Okay, so every movie and show that has to be done, in order for it to be not woke, that just means that every single show and movie just has to have an all-white, all-male cast. Well, how would that work out? If that was the case, I mean, I don't get it. Again, maybe it's something I'll never understand, and I'm not making that much of a big deal out of it. I'm just letting you know that I'm surprised I haven't heard that. I mean, because as she pointed out, you had people, so you have Mikey Madison, who plays Amber in the fifth film, and she's, part Jewish, part European, and part American. You have Mindy and Chad, who are both biracial, played by Mason Gooding and Jasmine Savoy. Jenna Ortega is mixed with Mexican and Puerto Rican, and then you have Melissa, who's part American, part Mexican. And there's a few others in there. Of course, one of the main characters they had in there also was white male. I mean, they had Dylan Minnette playing Wes. You, of course, got David Arquette still playing Dewey in there. So, I mean, let's see what the rest of this says. While it's easy to look back at a franchise like this and judge it for its lack of diversity, the new film did have the right thing by improving. The new film did the right thing by improving things for the better, and including a broad spectrum of cast members with different skin tones, backgrounds, sexual preferences. Jasmine Savoy's character Mindy, for instance, is the first LGBT character in the franchise. During Cinema Blend's interviews with the Scream cast, Jasmine shared that it was an affirming experience as a queer woman herself to get to bring the character to the horror franchise. Not only is this new film incredibly diverse, it's also warmly received by fans of the franchise. As soon as the movie screened, critics were raving about it. Real Blend co-host Kevin McCarthy, not to be confused with Republican Congressman Kevin McCarthy, totally different person, said that it was the closest he felt to the brilliance and excitement and horror of Wes Craven's original film. For example, in Cinema Blend's review of the film, Eric Eisenberg gave it a 90% and called it a truly successful sequel. The movie has also been successful commercially as well. Ahead of its third weekend in theaters, the movie made about $88 million worldwide against a $24 million production budget. Scream is a well-known franchise, and the fact that the fifth movie's first big hit is led by Latina women in Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega is a great win for diversity. And now that the movie has been released, we here at Cinema Blend will keep you in the know when it comes upcoming horror movies. I think they meant when it comes to upcoming horror movies, but okay, I got that. So, this is the part where somebody's going to comment and say, oh, more woke garbage. Oh, it's woke garbage. Oh, they're just pushing stuff. Pushing what? Who's pushing what in Scream movies? Just because you have some characters in there? First of all, I mean, what's the problem? I don't... Black, white, male, female, Jewish, Asian, Mexican, I mean, whatever. I mean, I thought that the same people who always talk about, this country's so divisive and we're always divisive, everybody's fighting. Well, this is a thing that basically says, hey, everybody, we're human beings here. All God's children. So I don't see why it would be a problem that these last two movies have that type of inclusion and inclusivity, that type of diversity coming together. And actually, I didn't even really realize that until Melissa pointed that out, that the first Scream movie was predominantly white cast. I mean, of course, you had the leads were female. You had Sydney and Gale, played by Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox. And then you had Rose McGowan playing Dewey's younger sister, Tatum. And then, of course, you had Stu Macher, Randy Meeks, all the others. So I just thought that was interesting. I just wanted to talk about that just right quick, just to point that out. And I will do a review of Scream 5 pretty soon, and then I'll do another video talking about how I'm going to respond to the criticisms of Scream 5. And then we still await Scream 7. So more Scream stuff coming.